So today is functional fitness. Part of our,
How,
yeah.
how, how long does the class last?
So I'll talk for about 5 minutes now, and then we teach for about 40 minutes. And
Mhm.
then we have 10 minutes does that all add up? That doesn't quite add up. I talk for 5 to 10 minutes at the beginning, teach for 40 minutes, talk for 5 to 10 minutes at the end.
Okay.
And so you can leave whenever you need to, but it's mostly 40 minutes of movement and then some chat at the end if you have questions.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, and Ross is saying, University of Oklahoma. I didn't remember that. Thanks, Ross. All right, let's get going. So welcome to our functional fitness class. Before we get moving, just a quick reminder what else GoGo provides. You can access rides, meals, groceries, medication delivery, and home services, all by calling one number, and that number is 855-464-6872. We also have a referral code at the bottom of your GoGo receipts. So if you give that code to a friend and they take a service with GoGo, after that first service, you will both get $10 in credit. So a nice win-win if you want to share GoGo. We also have a Facebook group. So if you ever want to continue any conversations that we have online, you can find us on Facebook. All right, and to the meat of the day, I'm Adra. I'm teaching the functional fitness class. I also teach the yoga class here at GoGo. Our functional fitness class is mostly standing, a little bit more active. The yoga class is more seated, a little bit calmer. So you have two options if this doesn't end up being the right option for you. What you need today, you need a chair. So, because we'll sit here and there, or we might use the chair for balance. A wall space is also a good place to use balance. And then I have a set of light weights, so I have 3-pound weights. If you don't have weights, and it could be anywhere 1 to 3 pounds, you could grab water bottles, you could grab cans, or nothing at all. We're gonna do a lot of movements that are challenging enough without weight, but just know that you can grab some weights if you wanna add a little bit extra oomph. And with that, I'll stop sharing my screen. So I should be your big screen if you want to see me nice and big. If I am not, you can go to the top right-hand corner of your computer. Top right-hand corner of your computer, there's a view button. You'll see a little box and the word view. If you click the view button, you can change to either speaker view, and that's when you'll see mostly me, or gallery view if you want to see everybody else moving with you. With that, let's get going. So let's take those feet about shoulder width apart. You can let those toes point forward. We'll inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling, reaching tall. And then exhale, lower the arms back down. Inhale, arms circle out and up. Exhale, arms back down. Inhale, out and up. And exhale, arms come back down. Let's move our spine. Let's inhale, open up the arms and reach that spine forward. So you're getting a little back bend here. And then exhale, round your back, tuck your tail, bring the backs of the hands to touch. Inhale, arms open, chest lifts. And exhale, tail tucks, backs, the hands touch. Keep going. Couple of times, just warming up the spine, letting the shoulders move as well. So remember that you are in charge of your body. So if anything doesn't feel good, please stop, skip it, take a break, or do something else. If you ever want to make something more challenging, you can do that. So you're welcome to always add more weight or move faster or slower. So make this class your own and listen to your body. So make it feel good for you, feeling free to skip anything or take breaks. Release those arms and let's bend a little side to side. Just continuing to warm up our spine before we increase the challenge. Feeling that stretch along the waist. You can keep your arms down, or if you'd like, you can reach one arm up towards the ceiling and then the other as you side bend. So as you side bend to the right, you reach the left arm up, and as you side bend to the left, you reach the right arm up. And then make your way back to center. Let's bring our fingertips to the shoulders and soften the knees. Try and keep your lower body still as you twist just your upper body. So finding some rotation here in the spine. And make your way back to center, release those arms. Let's take those feet a little wider than the shoulders. You can let your toes point forward or point slightly out. It's up to you. We're going into some squats. So as you inhale, bend your knees, arms can reach forward or up. And then exhale, straighten out those legs. We'll inhale, bend the knees, arms come forward and straighten. Keep going. I'm just going to show you different angles just to give you a better idea of what the squat can look like. So the hips are going back, the spine stays relatively still. So the shape of the spine doesn't really change. We're really using those big joints in the body. Warming up those glutes and those thighs, feeling some motion in the ankles, and allowing the arms to help counterbalance some of the weight of the hips as the hips go back. Next time your knees are bent, we're going to hold for 3 breaths. It can be a small bend, so if it's too much to be low, come up higher, totally fine, 3 breaths. And then go ahead and straighten out the legs, release the arms. Woo, and shake out those legs. Okay, we're going to turn and face our chair. If you don't have your chair, you could use a armrest of a couch, or you could use a table. If you're at a table, you're going to put your forearms on the table. If you're at your chair, you're going to put your hands at the chair. And same with the armrest of a couch, probably hands on, but you could try forearms. So hands on. Let's take those feet wide. So we're going to go wider than the shoulders. Maybe our feet are anywhere from 2 to 3 feet apart. Hips are still over the center of those legs. So we're not really far forward or really far back. Those hips are still in line with the legs. With the hands on the chair, you're going to sway your hips side to side, like you're wagging your tail. So this is prepping us for our next leg exercise. It's just allowing your tail to wag a little side to side and noticing where you feel the stretch. So you probably feel a stretch in the backs of the legs, but as your tail wags to one side, you might feel a little stretch in the inner leg as well as the outer leg. And then you'll let your tail wag to the right and bend your right knee a little bit. You'll feel a bit of inner thigh stretch of that left leg. Keep holding on to your support. And then straighten the right leg and we switch. So tail goes a little to the left and we bend the left knee, getting a little stretch here in the inner leg. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see a different view, so you can see you stay where you are. So we're letting our tail shift to one side, then bending the knee. Right, your hands are holding on, and then you straighten out the leg, and then your tail goes to the other side, and then you bend that same knee. And back to center. All right, let's come all the way up. Okay, so we're going to do a variation of what we just did, but with some weight and with a more upright body. I recommend that if you have socks that you take them off or that you wear shoes for this, because I don't want you to be slipping and sliding as our legs go wide. If you'd like, you're welcome to grab your weights and have them in front of your chest as you do this. If that feels like too much, it's plenty of work without the weights, so don't grab your weights, totally fine. So feet go wide just like they were before. You can either have your toes pointing forward or you can turn your toes to point slightly out. So it's up to you as to what feels comfortable for you. We're going to bend the right knee. I'll mirror you here. You'll bend your right knee and let your tail go back behind you into a side lunge. So it's sort of what we were doing before, except for before our torso was more parallel to the earth. Now our torso is more upright. Then we push down into that right foot to rise. Then we bend the left knee. Hips are back, chest is still lifted, but the chest can come slightly forward. Push down into that left foot to rise. So keep going here at your own pace. I'll give you a side view as well, so you get a sense that the torso does come forward, but it's not super far forward. It's up to you how fast or slow you go. You might feel a stretch as you do this. You can also make this really small, so it can be a small knee bend. Try and step off of the squeaky spots on my floor. Let's do just a few more. Allow yourself to even out right to left, so you've done the same on each side. And come on up, take those feet together, take a break. I need to take my sweater off. Here's a great moment for you to take a few extra deep breaths or have a sip of water.
I'm ready for the ski slopes.
And we'll now move into our upper body. We are going to repeat that exercise that we just did, so just keep it still in the back of your mind. We're going to move to our upper body. So grabbing your weights if you want them, or imagine that you're lifting something heavy. So just the imagination of moving as if you're carrying something heavy can really work your muscles. We're going to do a hammer curl. So that's when a bicep curl, but our fingers are facing towards each other. So the palms are in versus out. So oftentimes this is the bicep curl we do, but we're gonna let our palms be facing in. So we'll bend those elbows and then we'll push those arms up towards the ceiling. And then we rebend and lower. As we do this, especially with the arms up to the ceiling, try not to change the shape of the spine. So when the arms push up to the ceiling, the spine stays still, right? You see that my spine is not moving, versus sometimes what I see is this. We don't want to do that. That's way too much pressure on our back. That can really injure ourselves. So we want to limit the range to however far you can go with the arms up without compromising your spine. So you're keeping the position of the spine the same the whole time. If this gets tiring, you can alternate, right? It can be one arm at a time. And again, you can imagine that you're lifting something heavy if you don't have weights, or grab some cans, pick something up. Also, if you only have one weight, you can definitely still do a variation of this exercise. All right, so I'm showing you a variation if you only have one weight. So you have options. Try and keep your elbows narrow. So it's almost like your elbows are attracted to each other. They're magnets that are attracted to each other. They can't touch, but they have this attraction, so they're not popping out to the side. Couple more. Okay, let's let those arms come down, do a couple shoulder rolls back. And a couple shoulder rolls forward. Okay, and we're going to repeat those side lunges. So you can hold on to those weights if you want them, or put them down. If you have the weights, they're staying by your chest, and you're going to take those legs nice and wide. You decide where the toes point. And we'll come to the side here, there's less squeaking. We'll bend one knee, hips go back, other leg is straight, chest stays lifted, and then come on up. And up. Keep going. Nice smooth breaths. If you want, you can link your breath to your movement. Inhale on the way down. Exhale as you press your way up. Couple more times. Start to even yourself out, so you've done the same right to left. And once you're even, come on up, releasing the arms down, bringing those legs back together, shake them off. All right, so second set of those bicep curls with the overhead press, or the hammer curls with the overhead press. So finding your nice tall stance, relaxed spine, so the spine's not moving. We bend the elbows into our hammer curl and push the hands up towards the ceiling. Then elbows bend and lower down. So why is this motion important? We want to be able to lift things over our head. And usually we have to pick them up towards our chest first to lift them overhead. All right, so we want to have that strength, but we want to have that strength without injuring our spine. Our spine has lots of teeny tiny bones that are delicate. And so we want to be able to keep that spine nice and stable and use the strength of our shoulders and our arms to do some of the lifting. We still want the spine and the core and the abdominals to be involved, right? They're still working. They're just not moving a lot. We're creating stability in the torso and finding that motion in the upper body here. A couple more. Again, you have that option, if you get tired, to start to alternate arms. All right, and then let's let that go. Let's put those weights down for a moment. Shake it off. We're gonna stretch the backs of the legs in preparation for some deadlifting or deadlifting-like motion. So facing your chair or table or some kind of armrest, your feet are gonna be closer together here, maybe about, let's go with like 6 inches apart, give or take. Let your hips go back, so we're bending at the hips. The spine's gonna stay still in its position, and then bend the knees as much as you need, and then place your hands on your chair or table. If you have a table, maybe forearms, because you might be a bit high if you're on your hands, but you can play with this. So we're looking for a stretch along the backs of the legs. So what I want you to do, even with your knees slightly bent, is first try and reach your tailbone and your sits bones towards the ceiling. So instead of letting that low back round, you're reaching that tail up. So that's going to open up those hamstrings a little bit more. With that tail still reaching towards the ceiling, you're going to try and straighten out those legs. They may or may not straighten all the way. So don't feel like they have to straighten all the way. And notice that as you straighten, maybe your tail tries to tuck under. So try and keep your tail reaching towards the ceiling as you straighten. You want to get a nice stretch here in the backs of the legs. All right, go ahead and rebend those knees and come on up. I'm grabbing my weights for the deadlift. So the spine's gonna stay relatively still. So we're gonna try not to move the spine or the shape of the spine, right? The whole torso is going to move in space and really focus on the legs. So from here, we're going to hinge at the hips and bend the knees. So allow those knees to bend now and bring your torso parallel to the ground, almost like you're about to pick something up that's really heavy. So torso is parallel to the earth, knees are slightly bent, and then you're pushing down into the feet to rise. We're going to do this a few times. So we inhale on the way down, and then exhale as you rise. Keep going. This might feel almost more like a stretch than a strengthening exercise because usually this sort of motion is done with much heavier weights. But we really just want to get that nice form, that ability to reach down without rounding the back significantly. Let's just do one more. And then coming up, taking a little break, shaking it off. We're moving into some tricep extensions. We are going to repeat that deadlift in a little bit, but we'll move into some tricep extensions in between. And what's nice is that brings us into a very similar position. So we're going to face our chair or our table or our armrest, and you're going to hinge forward and place the hands on the chair. My left hand's going to be supporting hand. My right hand's going to grab the weight. We'll alternate sides or we'll switch sides. So left hand is on the chair, right hand has the weight, the right arm can dangle down. Knees can be bent here, so make sure that you feel comfortable. Your torso's close to parallel to the ground. From here, we bend that right elbow, squeeze the shoulder blade towards the spine, and then straighten the arm back behind you. Then rebend the elbow, keep the elbow high as you rebend, and then lower the hand down towards the ground. So we bend, getting a nice row, so shoulder blade squeezes towards the spine. Arm straightens back behind you. Elbow bends, arm lowers. Keep going. Nice smooth breath, soft jaw, remembering that you can always take breaks whenever you need. Listen to your body. Let's do one or two more. And then go ahead and come on up, take a little break, shake it off, release any unnecessary tension that may have built up from being in that position. And we'll go to the other side. So bringing the right hand to the chair, left hand holds your weight. Your spine is about parallel to the earth, or your torso is about parallel to the earth. Knees can be soft. We're grabbing a hold of the weight with that left hand. Then we bend the left elbow, squeeze the shoulder blade towards the spine, and straighten the left arm back behind you. We rebend and lower the hand. So it's a row. Squeeze the shoulder blade towards the spine. Elbow stays high as you straighten the arm back behind you. Elbow stays high as you rebend the elbow, and then lower the hand down. Keep going. Let's do about two more. And then coming up, shake it off. So we're going to adjust our deadlift to add a little challenge since we don't have that much weight, but we can change the challenge by putting more weight on one leg compared to the other. So we'll do the deadlift variation twice because we'll do it once on the right side and once on the left. So standing, we're going to focus on the right leg. We'll take the left foot back behind us. So that left foot is just going back maybe a foot. The left toes are on the ground for balance support. If you already know that you have some balance challenges, you're going to put your weights down and come close to a wall or close to your chair to hold on to, right? Because I want this to be able, I want you to feel safe. So definitely feel free to add some external support. So our right foot is in front, the left foot is behind us, the toes are on the ground. I want you to have 80% at least. 80% of your weight on that right leg, on that front leg. That back foot is there for balance, not so much for weight bearing. Our body is heavy, so that's where this creates a lot more challenge without adding extra weight in our hands. From here, we're doing that same deadlift motion, so we're bending the knees and hinging at the hips. Again, 80% of the weight at least is in that right leg. Torso's parallel to the ground. You're gonna drive through that right foot, push the right foot down to come up. Don't let the spine change shape. So the spine stays neutral the whole time. It's just the knees and the hips finding that motion. And since the hips are moving, the spine's gonna move with it. So we bend the knees, hips go back, torso parallel to the earth. 80% of the weight is on that right foot. We push into that right foot to come up. So keep going here. Again, feeling free to put the weights down and hold on. Because now we have most of the weight on one leg. The first time we did this, we had the weight even on both legs. What's great about doing one leg is not only do we increase the weight because now we're putting most of our body weight on one side, but also we can see if one side feels more challenging or weaker than the other side. All right, next time you're all the way up, pause, release, shake it off. So hopefully you felt that right leg really working. And then we'll go to the other side. So now the left foot is in front, the right foot goes back, just about a foot behind you. So not a big step back. Again, 80% or more of the weight is on that front leg, on that left leg. You can always get rid of your weights. You can always find a wall. We bend the knees, hips go back, torso comes parallel to the earth. We drive into that left foot, so we push the left foot down to come up. Keep going. So it's that same exact thing, except for it's the other leg. So we can see, how does this leg feel when we do this exercise? All right, let's do that one more time. And then coming up, shake it off. Okay, we're doing our second set of those tricep extensions. And then we'll move on to some new things. So coming by our chair or table, the left hand is supporting you, the right hand is holding the weight. Your knees can be bent. That right arm's gonna dangle. We'll start with our row. We bend the right elbow, squeeze the shoulder towards the spine, then straighten the right arm. The arm is about parallel to the ground. Keep the elbow high as you bend the elbow, and then lower the hand down as you straighten. So keep going. We row, tricep extension, and release. You decide how fast or slow you go. All right, one more. Release, come on up for a moment, shake it off. And we do our second side. So leaning forward, right hand is supporting you, left hand is holding the weight, knees can be slightly bent. We bend the left elbow, creating that row, and then straighten the arm back behind you. Pinky reaches towards the ceiling. Then elbow rebends and hand lowers. Keep going. All right, let's do one more. And release, come on up, shake it off. Let's stretch out those triceps. So we'll reach that right arm up, bend the right elbow, hand goes behind the neck or the head, and grab a hold of the elbow. Gently press your head back into the arms as you stretch. Few deep breaths. And we'll release and switch sides. So the left arm is up, we bend the left elbow, grab a hold of that left elbow with the right hand. Smooth breath, relaxed ribs. And release, shake it off. All right, let's move into some balancing work. So I'm gonna stand behind my chair. I want you to have something to hold on to. So you can get behind your chair, you can find a wall, find a table, just please have something to hold on to for some support. So we'll first start with our feet touching. So bring your feet to touch. And just see, okay, can I balance here with my feet touching and I'm holding onto my chair? Can you balance with your hands off of your chair? Maybe just hover above the chair because we're gonna add some challenge here. And then if you're ready for more challenge with just the feet together, you're going to close your eyes. So for some of us, this will feel very easy. And for some, this will be very hard. Right now, our feet are together, both feet are on the ground. So just notice. And then open the eyes again, hands back to the chair. Now we're gonna stand on a tightrope. So the right foot's going to step in front of the left. So we're standing on a tightrope. All 10 toes are facing forward. Our feet are pretty close to each other. Hands are on the chair, right? So that's challenge one, is you're finding this position with your hands on the chair. If you want a little more challenge, maybe it's just a finger or two on the chair. Maybe one finger on each hand, giving you some support. Maybe it's hovering the hands. Maybe, and only if this feels safe, are you closing your eyes. So closing the eyes will make it even harder. Just open your eyes or grab onto your chair if you start to lose your balance. Open the eyes back up, hands back to the chair if they're lifted, and we'll switch. So right foot steps back, left foot comes forward. So we're standing on the tightrope now with the left foot in front. First, we're just finding that position. Hands can be on the chair. You can hover the hands. Maybe it's a finger or two. If you need more challenge, you close the eyes. Hands back to the chair, eyes open, feet next to each other. Now we balance on one foot. If that feels like a crazy challenge, stick to one of the earlier challenges. So the standing one foot in front of the other, or even just feet together with the eyes closed. So right now, eyes open, hands on the chair, we stand on our left leg, so I'm gonna just lift the right foot up. You can have the right foot wherever you want. Know that you can bring the right foot down at any point. Maybe you're now moving into the tips of the fingers. Maybe you're hovering the hands, and only if this feels easy, maybe you play with closing your eyes. But if it's challenging enough with the eyes open, please keep your eyes open. Lots of options for lots of different levels and lots of different days. Some days this is easy, some days this is hard. Hands back to the chair, eyes open if they're closed. We'll switch. Right foot comes down, left foot rises. The left foot is off the ground. We're balancing now on the right foot, holding onto the chair. If you want a little more challenge, maybe it's just a finger or two on the chair, or hovering the hands, or closing the eyes. You might find one side is much harder than the other side. That's quite common. Your eyes are closed, open them back up, hands back to the chair, foot comes down. We'll go into an upside down L position. So hands on the chair. You're gonna walk yourself back until your hips are over your heels and your torso is about parallel to the earth. Give or take, right? You can be up a little higher if you need. You can bend your knees if you need. Make this work for your body. Couple of deep breaths. Go ahead and lift your chest, walk yourself forward. Step away from the chair for a moment. We'll inhale, circle the arms up towards the ceiling, reaching tall. And exhale, hands lower back down. 2 more times. Inhale, arms circle out and up. And exhale, hands lower down. This time, inhale, arms circle out and up. Pause with the hands up towards the ceiling. Let those palms touch, hands can lower to the chest. Give yourself a round of applause. Awesome work, everyone. So great to have you. So every week is different in a couple of different ways. So we alternate between functional fitness and yoga every other Friday. So next Friday will be yoga, but also each class is different. So I'm not going to do the same moves next functional fitness. We'll focus on other parts of the body. So just know that there's lots of variety and lots of options. All right, so now we'll just open it up if anyone has any questions about class or about our yoga or our functional fitness. If you have GoGo specific questions, the best thing to do is email GoGo directly. You can just respond to the invite and they can help you out for those.
Thank you. I really enjoyed that.
Thanks for coming, Susie.
You're welcome, Adria.
That was very helpful, and I'll come back for more.
Awesome. Glad you came, and I'm glad you're going to be coming back.
Me too.
I missed, who said me too?
Yeah, me too.
Ah, there, Susie. Sorry, I have lots of videos, so I'm looking for who's saying who, what.
Well, I guess I was going to say me 3.
Did I get the time wrong?
So, the class on Fridays is at 10 a.m. Pacific time. The Wednesday class is at 9 a.m. Pacific. So I don't know when you came in.
Well, I'm Eastern Standard Time. Anyway, that's fine. I waited for it.
Next time, was this Deborah speaking? Or Margaret? Oh, and V just put it in the chat. So for if you're on the east side, you don't have to have questions, but I'm gonna hang out and see if you do. So Wednesday is functional fitness. Friday will be yoga, so we alternate. I always have to think about it a little, so thank you everyone so much. Have a wonderful weekend.